the? I just got a notification on my mobile phone, and Wizards of the Coast did what? A 2-mana Planeswalker? They printed another 2-mana Planeswalker into a standard set. What were they thinking? Pioneer is ruined forever. Again, just look at how powerful this card is. Just what we need, a 2-mana Jason. Hey, wait a minute here. This thing can't be cast on my first 3 turns? Ugh, this card stinks. It's the worst Planeswalker ever, especially the worst Planeswalker at 2 mana ever. Why couldn't Wizards of the Coast print a good card instead of this garbage? What were they thinking? There's actually a lot of debate over whether or not this card is going to be powerful in formats like Pioneer. And regardless of whether you think Jace Reawakened is going to be unplayable or broken, the fact remains that Wizards of the Coast has indeed printed a new 2-mana Planeswalker. But is it a good Planeswalker, or is the timing restriction simply too big of a downside? And is the Planeswalker you get when you are finally able to cast this card worth the price of admission? Let's set aside the hyperbolics and take a look at what Jace Reawakened has to offer a format such as Pioneer. Jace Reawakened is a Jace Planeswalker for double blue that has 3 starting loyalty and the Serra Avenger text. That is, it can't be cast during your first, second, or third turns of the game. Jace Reawakened has 2+1 abilities. Either loot a card or plot a 3-mana value or less card from your hand. Jace's ultimate costs 6 loyalty and reads, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery this turn, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. Jace Reawakened is actually a fascinating card to try to break. 2-mana Planeswalkers on rate are dangerous design territory. Renin 6, for example, did not look broken to most players when it was previewed. However, a 2-mana Planeswalker must still do something good, which is exactly why 2-mana Tibalt is not good. I think Jace has the potential to do some powerful stuff in Pioneer. Having to wait until turns 4 or later is not the end of the world, since most blue decks that would want Jace probably want to spend their early turns interacting anyway to clear the board for him. And when you do get to cast Jace, he's perfectly costed to be cast alongside of an interactive spell. Say, cast Jace on turn 4 and no more lies your opponent's next spell. I mentioned that Jace is reminiscent of Serra Avenger, but honestly, the mana cost and timing restriction makes him more like Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Teferi is another Planeswalker that can't be cast until later, but ultimately once you do cast him and tick up, he effectively costs only 3 mana. Jace Reawaken's abilities don't immediately jump out as broken, but they are certainly solid. Looting is a fine way to sculpt your hand, and of course gets better if you have something to discard that's good in your graveyard. Say Arc-like Phoenix. Plotting a card is a good way to cheat on that mana, and the ultimate is very achievable and will lead to a huge turn. Just think you can use his ultimate to copy Temporal Trespass. Who needs Galvanic Iteration? There are also ways of breaking Jace. You can cast him on your opponent's turn 2 with Leyline of Anticipation, though you still won't be able to activate him until your next turn. His plot ability can be used to plot Valki, God of Lies, and then cast Tibalt, Cosmic Impersonator, on your next turn. But even without these cute loopholes, I do think Jace Reawakened has a real shot to make a splash in Pioneer. But what about the rest of Outlaws of Thunder Junction? What cards from the set besides Jace are destined to make a dent in the Pioneer format? Well, presented here are the top 5 non-Jace cards from Outlaws at Thunder Junction that we think are going to be relevant in the Pioneer format. Let's take a look, shall we? But first, in my recent forays into the magical archive of Tolarian Community College, I noticed something. There are an awful lot of magic cards with the word Awakening in the name. Animist's Awakening, Edgar's Awakening, Kumina's Awakening, even Rude Awakening. That's rough. It seems to me like many Magic the Gathering players maybe need to sleep more. Maybe you're like I used to be and you were awakening a bit too often during the night. But whether you just want a quality night's sleep or are in need of a better new mattress, then Helix Sleep, sponsor of today's video, is here for you. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses that are customized to your your needs and shipped directly to your door. All you have to do is answer a few quick questions from the Helix Sleep Quiz, and you'll be matched with the perfect mattress for your sleep style and preferences. For example, I'm a back sleeper who prefers a firmer mattress, so the Helix Dusk Luxe mattress that I was matched with is absolutely perfect. With over 20 unique mattresses available, including Helix Plus for big and tall sleepers and Helix Kids for growing bodies, there's a Helix mattress for every sleeper. And you know, Helix delivers straight to your door with free shipping in the US. The mattress comes in one box that's easy to get set up, even by yourself. Best of all, Helix offers a 10-year warranty and flexible financing, so a great night's sleep is never far away. I've been sleeping on my own Helix mattress for over 2 years now, and I genuinely love it. So if you're looking to become an evolved sleeper yourself, check out Helix Sleep. You can click the link in the video description below, or just go to helixsleep.com/Tolarian to get 20% off your Helix mattress, plus 2 free pillows. Thanks again, Helix Sleep, for sponsoring this video. Let's begin our list at number 5 with a new Doomblade variant. Perfect for those many Magic the Gathering outlaws who shot the sheriff but did not shoot the deputy. Do you get it? It's like that song. If you like memes like that, then this set is for you. Shoot the Sheriff is an instant for 1 and a black that reads, destroy target non-outlaw creature. Outlaw is a new delineation of creatures from Outlaws at Thunder Junction that includes assassins, mercenaries, pirates, rogues, and warlocks. All the shady ruffians that you're likely to see on any given Magic the Gathering plane. As it says on this card, every other creature type is fair game. Doomblade variants are important in Pioneer, where most black decks want the ability to kill big creatures to supplement their fatal pushes. Shoot the Sheriff is another tool in these decks' removal belt, joining Go for the Throat, Power Word Kill, and Bitter Triumph as the preeminent options for cards that kill big things. As always with these cards, the restriction is what matters. Go for the Throat can't hit artifact creatures, while Power Word Kill misses important big guys like Atraxa and Archfiend of the Dross. Bitter Triumph hits anything, but at a hefty cost of either 3 life or discarding a card. Shoot the Sheriff has a few weaknesses of its own. Vein Ripper, the key card to the Rakdos Vampires deck that won the most recent Pro Tour, is an assassin, while Illuminator Virtuoso and a few role players like Brazen Borrower and Extraction Specialist also sneak past Shoot the Sheriff's sights. But Shoot the Sheriff can hit most big creatures, including the all-important Sheoldred, and is therefore absolutely worth consideration for your removal suite. Coming in at number 4 on our list is a legendary 2-drop that is worth its weight in gold, or treasure. I guess gold tokens just don't exist anymore. Nonetheless, introducing Mogda, the Horde Master. Mogda is a 2/2 dwarf berserker legend for 1 and a red. Once per turn, when you commit a crime, create a tapped treasure token. You can also sacrifice 3 treasure tokens to create a 4/4 red scorpion dragon token with flying and haste. It's not immediately obvious where Mogda, the Horde Master, slots in on day 1, but she's certainly a very powerful card. She's a great payoff for doing what you likely wanted to be doing anyway. That is, interacting with your opponent. In a red-black shell, your Thoughtseizes, Fatal Pushes, and even cards like Graveyard Trespasser trigger her ability. The treasures entering tapped is a bummer, but honestly, if the treasures weren't tapped, Mogda would be bananas. Even making tapped treasures is still useful though, especially because of Mogda's second ability, which does not care if the treasures are tapped or not. Even activating this ability a single time will be a huge swing, as the dragon isn't just big and evasive, it has flying too. Mogda gets stronger the more other treasure markers you have, as if Fable of the Mirror Breaker needed to get any better. If I had to guess, I'd say the best home for Mogda is a deck like Rakdos Sacrifice. Mayhem Devil is a great way to commit a crime for 0 mana every turn, and the deck also plays Deadly Dispute alongside Fable of the Mirror Breaker to generate extra treasures for her second ability. Heck, if you activate Mogda's second ability with Mayhem Devil in play, you also get a trio of pings to go along with your Hasty Dragon. It's also possible that Mogda spawns an entirely new archetype, going more all in on creating as many treasures as possible to power out her dragon tokens as quickly as you can. Regardless of how and where she fits into the Pioneer format, Mogda, the Horde Master, is certainly strong enough to earn a spot. Next up, we have an incredibly powerful sideboard card for any aggressive Boros deck. It's High Noon, the best rule of law effect this side of the Mississippi. High Noon is a 2-mana white enchantment that reads, players may not cast more than 1 spell per turn. It also has an activated ability. Pay 4 generic and a red mana to pop any target for 5 damage. Rule of law effects like this one are incredibly valuable in Pioneer because of how good they are against both Izzet Phoenix and Lotus Field combo. These decks both need to fire off multiple spells in a turn in order to execute their game plan, so preventing them from doing so is a huge deal. Izzet Phoenix especially doesn't interact well with enchantments, relying on bounce effects like Brazen Borrower and Otawaro Soaring City to clear them for a single turn, allowing Phoenix decks one chance at stringing together enough spells to win. The 2 versions of this effect that saw the most play previously were Deafening Silence and Archon of Emeria. These 2 cards are certainly good, but have some drawbacks. Deafening Silence still allows the Phoenix deck to, for example, cast a Ledger Shredder and then cast a removal spell to trigger the Shredder's Connive. Archon of Emeria is as restrictive as High Noon, but carries the very real downside of being killable by Izzet Phoenix's interaction. High Noon has the stronger stacks effect of Archon with the hard-to-kill aspect of Deafening Silence. Don't count out that second ability on the card either. The biggest issue with relying on a stack's effect to prevent these powerful decks from functioning is eventually the decks will find an answer to the stack's piece, or simply kill you some other way. You need to apply pressure on top of shutting down their deck. High Noon accomplishes this by effectively shrinking your opponent's life total to 15. There's no rush to activate it either. Just leave it in play and continue enacting the rest of your game plan. Eventually, you'll get to 5 mana and your opponent will be at 5 or less life, at which point Lava Axe can be sent directly to face. But you don't just have to go face with High Noon either. You can also use the card to clear a pesky blocker, like a big Ledger Shredder. Most of the time, though, you'll want to send this card directly to face, since the decks that it's best against won't have many blockers. I expect High Noon to become a staple of most Boros aggro decks' sideboards, but especially the sideboards of Boros Convoke. So what are the top 2 best new cards for Pioneer from Outlaws at Thunder Junction? Well, the second best new card for Pioneer is 3 Steps Ahead, which is without a doubt the best spree rare for constructed formats. 3 Steps Ahead has a base mana cost of a single blue mana, but it will always cost more than that. For an additional 1 and a blue, you counter target spell. For 3 generic mana extra, create a token that's a copy of target creature or artifact you control. For an additional 2 generic mana, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. This card is reminiscent of a card that was a powerhouse in Modern for a very long time. Archmage's Charm. Archmage's Charm is arguably the best 3-mana counterspell of all time, since the fail case mode of drawing 2 cards makes up for the counter mode being overcosted in today's low-curve, high-impact environment. The third mode of Archmage's Charm, stealing a 1-mana value permanent, is certainly a strong additional use for the card, but never came up at the same rate as the other 2 modes. 3 Steps Ahead also has counter target spell and draw cards modes, though the drawing cards mode is worse than Archmage's Charm. Still, it's not that much worse. And more importantly, there are a few aspects of 3 Steps Ahead that make it even better than Archmage's Charm. First of all, 3 Steps Ahead has a less restrictive mana cost, countering a spell for 1 and double blue rather than triple blue. The card draw mode is even less restrictive, only costing 2 and a blue, but the best part about this card is that you can pour additional mana into it to get multiple modes. 3 and double blue is an excellent rate for a card that counters a spell, plus draws 2, discard 1. The copy a creature or artifact mode on this card is not nearly as good as the other 2 modes, since unfortunately you can't copy something your opponents control. But sometimes you'll get to use that mode to copy a big shark token or sideboard threat like a Dream Trawler. Until now, Pioneer had been missing a good unconditional counter spell. Absorb, Sinister Sabotage, Urtai's Scorn, and Disruption Protocol all have upside of some kind, but none of these cards are all that exciting. 3 Steps Ahead is absolutely exciting. The modality of the card means it is never dead. Drawing 2 and discarding 1 is a great way to smooth your hand in the mid-game. Sometimes you really just need to counter a spell. Anytime you're able to use both the first and third modes on this card, though, you're going to feel like Goku going Super Saiyan. Is that a reference that kids still make? I don't even know that reference. That's just a reference Jessie made. But Jessie is old like me, so she can ask questions about her references. As for me, I don't know what the hell a Goku is. Alright, have you guessed our number 1 pick for best new card for the Pioneer format from Outlaws at Thunder Junction? Let's take a look. The #1 card from Outlaws at Thunder Junction for Pioneer is, without a doubt, Slick Shot Showoff, a blisteringly fast clock on a flying, hasty body. Slick Shot Showoff is a 1/2 bird wizard for 1 and a red. It also has plot for the same mana cost. Slick Shot Showoff has flying, haste, and a pseudo prowess ability. Anytime you cast a non-creature spell, this little bird gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Slick Shot Showoff is awesome. Sure, you can cast it on turn 2 and get in for 1 damage in the air right away, but since that plays poorly if your opponent can Fiery Impulse it, you're likely better off plotting this on turn 2 instead. The Showoff will then chill in exile, waiting to be cast for 0 mana, while you assemble enough instants and sorceries to ensure it packs a wallop when the coast is clear. Your opponent will be put in an awkward position since they will now have to hold up removal, basically indefinitely if they want to avoid getting smacked in the face. It'll therefore be harder for them to curve out. If they want to tap out for Fable of the Mirror Breaker on turn 3, they're going to have to resign themselves to getting hit for 5, 7, or even more damage. There are a few possible homes for Slick Shot Showoff. The most obvious immediate home is Boros Heroic, where this card probably replaces 10th District Legionnaire. By waiting to cast the Showoff until after you've plotted it, you can ensure you cast it with the protection of God's Willing. Turn 2, plot Showoff. Turn 3, Monstrous Rage, Defiant Strike, and God's Willing is 11 haste damage in the air. Slick Shot Showoff also seems great in Boros Pia, since casting a plotted creature triggers Pia Nalar, Console of Revival. That deck was already playing prowess creatures as its threats of choice, so Slick Shot Showoff fits naturally into the creature suite of Monastery Swift Spears and Soul Scar Mages. One more potential home for Slick Shot Showoff is a brand new deck, Wizard Burn. Oh, I love this deck. See, Slick Shot Showoff is a wizard. That's right, this bird is a wizard, meaning it makes Wizard Lightning cost 1 mana. Between Slick Shot Showoff, Soul Scar Mage, and Get 2 Lava Runner, a nice selection of playable aggressive wizards are legal in Pioneer. But no matter where you slot it, Slick Shot Showoff is one of the best aggressive creatures printed in a standard set in quite some time. If you love killing your opponent while they still have a bunch of cards in hand, then Slick Shot Showoff is the perfect card for you. While many Magic the Gathering players were indeed disappointed in the overwhelmingly high number of legendaries in Thunder Junction and the fact that this set seemed to be engineered with Commander as its primary goal, there's still a lot of power here for formats like Pioneer. But these were just our picks, and now I want to hear from you. Which cards do you think are most likely to make impact in the Pioneer format? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, the one thing so many Magic the Gathering players need these days, along with everyone else, is a good night's sleep. And a good night's sleep starts with a great mattress. And that's exactly where sponsor of this video, Helix Sleep, comes in. You know, I've really slept with my Real Helix mattress for over 2 years now, and I love it. So if you're looking for a great night's sleep, check out Helix Sleep. You can click the link below or just go to helixsleep.com/Tolarian to get 20% off your Helix mattress plus 2 free pillows. Thanks again, Helix Sleep, for sponsoring this video.
Apple and pears up the stairs, crumpets and tea, next time on Shuffle Up and Play.
Today, we are doing an educational game of Commander. We are going to teach you what a level 8 Commander deck is.
Hi, I'm Lewis Stardust. Today I'm playing Miram, Sentinel Worm.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Joe Johnson, and today I am playing Preston Garvey, a new Fallout Commander.
I'm Vince, also as Peasant Kenobi on the internet, the milkiest man in esports entertainment, and today I'm playing Mono White Outdoor Adrium.
And since we are playing level 8 decks, I'm on slivers!
If I blow up all your slivers, would it upset you?
Do you not see what is on Lua's board?
You
Lua
lose
has
5
no
lives.
lands! Lua has no lands!
Oh no, but what's that instead of the land?
Are you gonna be sad if your sliver dies? Like,
Yeah, I'm gonna be sad if my sliver dies.
still gonna do it.
Yeah! A hole is an absence of donut.
No, not a ring donut.
Yeah, like
A donut doesn't have a hole.
How do the jam gets in?
It
They
puts-
don't teleport it in, prof.